Gentlemen, it must be time for
Right.
our marketing video.
Okay.
Okay, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about market research today. It looks like we have a test coming up,
We do.
and we
Online.
need to get online test, so we need to get ready. Now, before we start with this, a couple of things. One, the online test is an open book test, but having said that, you only get 45 minutes to do it. So you get 20 multi-choice questions, you get 45 minutes, so that means 2 minutes per question and 5 minutes to make sure.
If you don't know your stuff, you won't be able to find it. So you can check on things, but you won't have time to find stuff.
Yeah.
So
And-
learn what you need to learn.
And please, print stuff, bring it with you, and use that one. Do not use the same machine to switch between things. That never works.
Okay, marketing research. Malind, there's information we can research within the company,
Yeah.
internally and externally. What
Yeah.
do we find within the company?
Within the company, we tend to find internal marketing data, internal sales data, but sometimes we can actually use that information.
How much have we sold this month? How much have we sold
Yeah.
last week? How about today?
Yep.
All that
absolutely.
information.
Yeah.
Customer complaints.
Yeah.
We can research that. What are people complaining about? What should we do different?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You can also keep track of the feedback that you get from your own staff members. It's
Yeah.
important, it's learning for everyone, so why not?
They know what bothers the customers
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
where the opportunities are.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's external. So research. What is this research?
When we actually decide to go out and collect data and then interpret the data and understand it, so if you look at the first box, it's a process of collecting, analyzing, interpreting data about customers, competition, and the business environment. What we're really doing is going out and collecting data and understanding what's happening. It's all part of market planning.
We can help the company to grow, and we
Yeah.
can help the company to avoid any trouble areas.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's research. Help the company grow. Ooh, 7 steps. 7 no less.
Yeah, there's a process behind it, and the idea is that you understand the process. There is a definite starting point and there's a definite end point to the actual process, and then you go step by step. And
Shall we try it?
Yeah, absolutely, have a look at it.
Let's have a go. Okay, so we got a problem. I'd like to introduce a new ice cream flavor into
Yeah.
the market.
Yeah, so you've got to start with the research question,
Okay.
and the question should be, what type of flavors do people generally eat or like to eat?
Okay.
And that becomes a research question, and you say go out and start finding information on it.
I'm Dutch. Would they like licorice ice cream?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so let's try that. Let's test it. So
Yeah.
then we need to design the research. What does
Yeah.
that mean?
We need to plan. We need to know that we need information. We also need to plan where to go and get that information from. And obviously, when you talk about information, it's about data and marketing. And we get two kinds of data. One, which is an existing data, which is already available, obviously done by somebody else, owned by somebody else, but you can absolutely go and look for that information.
Okay, so I could go to Dutch websites
Yeah.
and try and find information about licorice ice cream.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever researched this before?
Yeah.
If they have, then maybe I don't have to do it, or I can buy it really cheaply from them. So
And
that's
and
secondary.
that's why we secondary data is always first, because sometimes you realize somebody's already done the work. You don't need to do it again. You just go and use that information.
But maybe I can't find anything about licorice ice cream.
Yeah.
Then I need to research it myself.
Yeah,
Primary.
and that's when you have to do it. And if you are doing it, and if you're putting all that money and time and effort into it, then it's primary research. You own it, you keep it, and you do not share it with anyone.
No.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between secondary and primary.
primary.
Okay. Number 3.
Yeah.
Then we need to collect that primary data.
Yeah.
There are different methods to do that.
There are quite a few methods available to collect information, but the question is, what type of research are we really doing? And that determines what method we end up using for collecting that data. So if you go to the next slide,
So, but yeah,
and that's exploratory.
I could do interviews.
Yeah.
I could do focus groups.
Absolutely. You can also do ethnography or case studies. The idea is to sit down with a customer, have a conversation, learn everything that you possibly can, sometimes for 45 minutes, sometimes up to 90 minutes. You can get them into a focus group interview in a classroom situation, throw questions at them, let them have a conversation with you and with each other, and you tape everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if I go back, then I could make an interview with,
Yeah.
or a focus group interview, structured or unstructured.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can talk about anything they like,
Yeah.
unstructured, or I can ask them, hey, have you ever eaten licorice? Do you
Yeah.
like licorice?
You can even design a licorice ice cream in your company and take it with you and give it to them and say, try this and tell me whether you like it or not.
And we're exploring, so that would be
Yeah,
exploratory.
exploratory market research. We know nothing about it, so we're trying to learn, and that's why exploratory.
What is descriptive research?
What happens then if you actually end up designing a product and put it in the market? You would like to know what's happening with it. You would also like to know what the competition is up to, what the customer is up to. So you're describing things as you find them.
And it's quantitative.
It's quantitative. It's about doing it. And the most popular method in that is survey. And there are whole different types of surveys you can do. You can do telephone, email, online, one-on-one.
In the mall, face-to-face,
yeah,
over the
absolutely.
phone. Yep.
So
yes,
the idea is to collect data from at least 100 people.
100, 1,000?
Or you
A
can
lot.
Go on. Yeah, you can go up to 5,000
A lot of
if you want. Yeah.
Okay, and then you answer them. You ask them those specific questions.
And get specific answers out of them. Yeah.
Okay. Then we need to design a sample.
Yeah.
We know the method that we want to use.
Yep.
Now we need to. What is a sample?
A sample is the number of people that you need to give you the information that you're looking for. So if you're doing exploratory, and if you're talking to about 15 or 20 people, that is your sample. If you're doing the descriptive one, and if you're doing a survey with 100 people, that is your sample.
Okay.
The number of people in front of you who will give you the answers to the questions that you have.
And that sample has to represent your target market, the
Yep,
people that
absolutely.
you think might buy licorice ice cream.
Yeah. So if you want to study social media habits, the first question in your survey would be, do you use social media? If they say yes, then yep, you can go ask more questions to them. If they say no, then they're not your sample.
Okay.
Okay.
So if they say no, they are not representative.
Yeah.
If they say yes,
Yeah, then they are.
they are representative. They are the representative of your target market.
Yeah.
That's an easy one to remember.
Yeah.
Okay, then there's reliability and validity.
You want people to trust the data that you're presenting. You want people to have faith in the information that you're about to present, because end of the day, you're going to make a decision out of it. So there are two tests. One is how valid is the information that you've collected, and number two is how reliable is that information that you've collected. I've told you in tutorials a couple of times, I'll repeat this. Please go on google.com and put that as a question, validity in market research, put a question mark, see what you find.
Okay.
Okay.
So if I want to figure out whether people are going to eat licorice ice cream, and I ask them only the question, do you like licorice?
Yeah, yeah,
And I don't ask them the question, do you like licorice ice cream?
yeah.
I only ask, do you like licorice? And they all say yes, and
Yeah.
I conclude, everybody's going to like licorice ice cream.
That's wrong.
Then I haven't measured, I measured the wrong thing.
Yep.
I measured, do they like licorice? I did
Yeah.
not measure, do they like
Yeah.
licorice ice cream?
And the other test is reliability. So if I design a survey, and if I do the survey, if I give it to Aryan and he does the survey, the answers that we get should not be drastically different.
No.
If they start to be drastically different and away from each other, then clearly, there's an error in our research that we've done.
Yeah.
So we need to be mindful of that.
It has to be reliable, it has to be free
Yeah.
of errors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Please
that makes-
read. Please read. It's important.
It's important to
Yeah.
know this for your test.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we need to collect the data.
Yeah.
We send out interviewers into the mall, talk
Yeah.
to people.
Yeah.
We need to supervise them, tell them what to do, what
Yeah.
not to do.
We need to make sure that we are taking willing participants to come in, give us the insights into the consumers. We collect that data and we take it back with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've collected all the data, we've talked to all those people. Great. What are we going to do? Oh, we need to analyze it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So different methods of analyzing the actual data that we get. If you do one-on-one interviews, then there's a whole lot of transcript that comes out of it. You can literally analyze line by line. If you do a survey, you can feed all that data into a software package called SPSS. We've got it with us. And you can analyze what those 100 people were telling you.
50% said this, 66% said,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm sure 99% would like licorice ice cream. I'm pretty sure. So that's statistical techniques.
Yeah.
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 Okay. And then we need to put all that information together
Last step.
in a
last
report.
step. Yep, absolutely. We need to go back and say, what have we found after doing all of the work that we have done, all the time that we spend, all the money that we spend, what did we find?
So then the marketing team can give the results of the research
Yeah.
to the company director and say, we should produce licorice ice cream.
Yeah.
Or nobody's going to eat licorice.
Yeah, everyone
ice
says
cream.
they don't like it.
Yeah, no. Okay. And then
Right.
we've done our job.
Yep.
We found out for the company
Whether,
what the answer was to the question, to the
Yeah.
problem.
whether to launch a licorice ice cream or not.
Okay, sounds pretty simple to me.
Yep. Right.
Okay,
So that's market research for you.
study the book, study the slides,
Yeah.
do some research, like Malin said,
Yeah.
online.
Ask questions to google.com. It will tell you lots to think about.
Okay, that's it for this week.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.